In the middle of the Al-Assad Desert, where the heat could melt even your willpower, I received an email. It was mid-shift, the air thick with dust, sweat pouring down the back of my armor. I was sneaking in a 5-minute break, crouched beside the command tent, when my old tablet buzzed. The connection was shaky, but strong enough to load a subject line colder than any desert night breeze. Let's be adults about this. I opened the email. Just 3 lines. I've filed for divorce. I've moved Jeremy in. I've emptied our accounts. Please don't make this harder than it has to be. Attached. A PDF. Divorce papers. I stared at the screen, still holding an unopened water bottle. I felt nothing, not because I was numb, but because the shock hit so fast. So hard, like a mine going off right next to your ear. All I heard was a ringing. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I simply closed the screen, stood up, walked to the communal shower stall, rinsed off under freezing water, suited up again, and went back on shift like nothing happened. Same gritty uniform, same scuffed helmet, but inside, something had died. That night, back at my bunk, I replied with a single word: understood. No rage, no pleading, no accusations. Wilson, the guy on the bottom bunk, looked up from his military novel. You good, Turner? I nodded. Just stuff back home. He didn't push. Guys in uniform, we know when silence is sacred. But maybe I had already known. 6 months earlier, Emily started to change. She stopped asking about my day. Always claimed she had meetings at the clinic. Started hitting the gym 3 times a week and never once broke a sweat. New clothes, new friends, new passwords. I wasn't blind. I wasn't naive. I just trusted her. But I'm also a soldier. And soldiers know how to prepare for the worst. I didn't confront her. I didn't start a war. I quietly built my own defense line. I rented a small storage unit out on the edge of Tempe. I moved everything important in there, via loan paperwork, pension documents, birth certificates, even my grandfather's Purple Heart and my mom's engagement ring. I opened a separate military bank account, diverted a slice of my pay there, small enough not to raise suspicion, but enough that I'd have a safety net if things went to hell. And they did. She didn't just move some guy in. She did it while I was sweating half a world away, where a single wrong step could be my last. I sat at night in the ops room, red light glowing from the radar screens. Someone down the hallway laughed, probably Private Mendoza on a video call with his wife. And me? I was staring at our bank account. Almost 80 grand. Gone. Drained over 3 weeks. Starting the day I deployed. I clenched my phone so tight. My wrist trembled, but I didn't call. I didn't text. Instead, I logged into the security cameras back home, ones I'd installed last year. She must have forgotten about those. 3 outside, 2 in the living room, 1 down the hall facing the kitchen. The kitchen I'd remodeled with my own hands last winter. And there he was. A man, walking Bo, my rescue golden retriever, wearing my Seahawks hoodie, sipping from the wedding photo mug. And there she was, Emily, smiling, relaxed, like I never existed. I shut the screen. Coldness crawled up my neck and into my chest. Then I sat down, pulled out a notepad, and I wrote a list, not a hit list. A plan. Call Alex, my friend turned attorney. Request emergency leave. Audit the VA loan file. Check for forged refinance applications. I didn't feel sad anymore. I didn't feel mad either. I felt focused, not because I was a betrayed husband, but because I was a soldier and my perimeter had just been breached. I landed at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport at 3 a.m. under a fake name on the ticket and without telling anyone, not even the woman who once called herself my wife. My backpack carried just a few changes of clothes, a USB drive containing all the footage from my home cameras, and printed bank documents. No welcome signs, no one waiting, just me and the shadow of the man I used to be. I didn't go home. Instead, I booked a mid-range room at a Mesa motel, under the name James Roth. Quiet, low profile. I lay on the bed, staring up at a ceiling stained yellow by time, thinking of Bo, my loyal dog, now being walked by a man who didn't even know how to clip a leash right. The next morning, I met Alex at a 24-hour diner off the freeway. He looked exactly like I remembered him, wrinkled shirt, military cut, and eyes that knew the battlefield wasn't always overseas. You look like hell, Alex said, setting down his coffee. I am the hell. I replied, handing him the stack of documents. He flipped through each page, his face darkening with every turn. "She forged your signature," he said at last. "The refinance application was submitted 3 months ago. $330. And," he pulled out a specific page, "Jeremy Ryan is the co-borrower." My stomach twisted like a blade inside me. "I didn't sign anything," I said quietly. "I know," Alex replied, "and I know who's behind this. Real estate agent named Dylan Spencer. Been on our radar before. Worked with Jeremy on multiple lowball deals, specifically targeting soldiers on deployment." I clenched my fist. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. This was a setup, a coordinated operation. Alex leaned in. "So what do you want?" "I want my name back. My house. And I want every last one of them to understand that not every soldier rolls over." That afternoon, we walked into the bank that had processed the refinance. I showed my military ID, original VA loan paperwork, and my real signature. The loan officer, a graying man named Bradley, went pale. This is serious," he muttered, eyes darting between documents. "I'll need to report this immediately." "I understand," I said. "Here's the police report. I've already filed." On my way back to the motel, I received the first message from Emily since that cold email from Iraq. "Jake, Jeremy says someone asked questions at the bank. Was that you? We need to talk." I didn't reply. Instead, I called the Phoenix FBI office, outlined the situation. An hour later, Agent Patel called me back. "You're not the first," she said, "but you might be the key witness that ties it all together. If you're willing to cooperate, we'll take this all the way." "I'm in," I said. "I've been through combat. I didn't come back to roll over." That night, back at the motel, I opened the camera feed one more time. 9:40 p.m. A pickup truck pulled into my driveway. Jeremy stepped out, beer in hand, punching in the door code I once gave Emily. Moments later, another man arrived, button-down shirt, leather briefcase. "Dylan Spencer." I turned up the audio. "List at 470. Dylan said. "Buyers ready at 430. Quick cash." "What about Jake?" Jeremy asked. "Military guy. He'll settle. They always do. Give him a few thousand and make it go away." "Not this guy." I hit record. Sent the video to Agent Patel with one line. "Happening now." 30 minutes later, I stood in the shadows across from my house. Unmarked black SUVs. FBI agents in jackets. Jeremy in handcuffs. Dylan pinned against a cruiser. Emily barefoot on the porch, wrapped in a thin robe, clutching her head like she'd just fallen off the stage. I didn't turn away. I looked right at it. Because this wasn't just justice for me. It was a message. We soldiers may serve in silence, but we damn well fight back. I didn't sleep that night. Even knowing Jeremy and Dylan were in custody, something stayed lodged in my chest, a mixture of fury and grief I couldn't name. I opened the security cameras again, just to make sure. The house was sealed off with a federal investigation notice. Bo was no longer in the yard, hopefully picked up by animal services. The next morning, I got a message from Emily. "Jake, please, I didn't know it would go this far. Jeremy's been arrested. The FBI came to the house. We need to talk. I don't understand any of this." Didn't understand? I read that message 10 times. Each time, my hands shook more, but not with anger, with emptiness. I replied with just 4 words. "Who is Dylan Spencer?" 10 minutes passed. Then, "I don't know what you mean. It's not what you think. Please, Jake." I shut my phone off. Not to block her, just to end it. At the FBI field office in Phoenix, I met again with Agent Patel and Agent Donovan. A stack of files thicker than a high school yearbook sat on the table. "Thank you, Jake," Patel said. "Your evidence helped us connect every isolated case involving Jeremy Ryan and Dylan Spencer across 3 states, Arizona, Texas, Florida. They targeted at least 11 military families." "And her?" I asked. I couldn't say her name. "We're still assessing her role," Donovan replied. "She claims she didn't know Jeremy was scamming anyone. Says she thought the refinance was to fix the house. But, she signed. She used a fake signature. And she got the money. They were married." Patel added gently. "We need to know. Do you want to press charges?" I didn't answer right away. I drove back to the motel. The same room. The same musty smell now familiar. I opened my duffel bag. Pulled out the coffee mug with our wedding photo, the only thing I kept. I stared at the face of the woman who had once loved me. The woman who said she'd wait for me. Who cried at the airport before my first tour. Who, somehow, became this stranger. 3 days later, Emily's attorney contacted Alex. A settlement offer. Emily would return all assets. Relinquish all claim to my military pension. Sign a confession admitting to forgery. In exchange, I wouldn't pursue criminal charges. Alex asked me, "What do you want, Jake? Justice or peace?" I sat in silence. Then I said, "I want freedom. And that doesn't include dragging her through 10 court hearings." I signed. 6 months later, I sold the house. The place that once felt like home. Now just a wound that wouldn't heal. I used the money to buy a small cabin outside Kalispell, Montana, near Flathead National Forest. Just 2 rooms. But the land was wide, enough to breathe. A creek ran behind the cabin. Birds woke me in the morning. I made fires at night. I adopted a new dog, Scout. A German Shepherd. Loyal. Sharp. Never left my side. I took woodworking jobs from locals, tables, window frames, loft stairs. Didn't make much, but it was enough. I didn't need more than that. One autumn afternoon, I received a handwritten letter from a woman in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. The handwriting was soft, deliberate. "You don't know me, but you saved our family. My husband is in the Navy. Jeremy tried the same refinance scam on me. The FBI said your case exposed it all. Thank you for standing up when most would have walked away." I folded the letter and taped it to my refrigerator. Every time the silence got loud or the nights grew heavy, I'd open the fridge, see that letter, and remember, what happened wasn't meaningless. I don't hate Emily anymore. She made her choices, and I made mine. And I know now, what she lost wasn't just me. It was her own soul. I used to be a victim. Now I'm a survivor. A man who still has his name, his honor, and his peace. And for the first time in years, I sleep easy. No nightmares. No sirens. No one walks my dog but me. This story isn't about revenge. It's about survival. With clarity. With discipline. With dignity.